what people might enjoy watching this a little bit. This is a little bit of a break for me to kind of tell other people about this this workshop, or these workshops I'm doing. And I'm just waiting for Facebook Live and YouTube to come up. They should pretty shortly. It takes a minute or two. So we're having fun with this, aren't we? I'm gonna look here and see if it's up. Not yet. Okay, well, we'll see. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start with this, on this far right side, I've got to create some, I think I'll start with some splatter. And this is going to be a darker value of some of the same stuff I've been doing. So I've got my ultramarine blue, burnt sienna combo. Might put a little bit of, maybe I'll make a pile up in here. And let's see, burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, and I'm going to add a little bit of the quinacridone gold to it, green it up a little bit. But I want it dark, so maybe even some of this sepia. Make a pretty dark mixture. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's see, where am I here? It is working. Okay. So we're streaming live for a little bit on Facebook and on YouTube. I want you all to join us. We've got a workshop going here that's been going for a couple hours. I'm getting close to the end, and I've got this this painting I'm working on. You can see the painting on the right side over there, and then I've got this painting here that I'm doing, and I'm going to start by building up some trees over here. And this is the way I'm going to do this. I'm going to make these trees happen into this area over here by creating a bit of a random texture. And what I'm doing is using this splatter technique to build these trees up, which is what I did over here on this side. And I'm going to, in this case here, I'm going to put some, kind of flatten some of these out a little bit with a brush that's a little bit damp. But I think first of all I need to decide where are these background trees going to be. Let me do a quick add some trunks in here to these trees. These are very silhouetted trees. One of them is going to be large and right up in here. So I'm going to take my brush with just go right down here. Just drop that right in there. And I'm going to get some more pigment. I'm going to add some more dark trees in here. A little different than the photo. I don't need to follow exactly what's there. These trees are off in the distance a bit. Here's one that's a little further back. And these trees are going to have some great branches coming off. This is my favorite, my new favorite magic brush. With a great point. It's a Velvet Touch Long Round by Princeton. and it really works well for these kinds of things. Now, those are my basic trunks in this area, and it's got to have, I'm going to have a bunch of, I'm going to have color coming in here and shadows, and there's going to be, all this is going to have some darker value. So I'm going to start with that right away. Get some of that in here. This is definitely a jumble. It's John Yardley from Britain says, "When you see a jumble, paint a jumble." I love that. I love that saying. I think it's very appropriate and very true. Don't try to paint a bunch of details if it isn't detailed. If it's just a jumble of things, paint it what you see. And sometimes we're also making up stuff here as we go. So depends on what it is you're trying to accomplish, I guess. So there's this back in here, and there are some greens in here that fall into this area right in here. I might put some of that in just because there is some of that. Now these trees up in here, I've got to get those working a little better. Again, very dark mixture. And I want it to be, I want to have color in it. I don't want it just black, but it is almost black. But here's where another layer over the top of this can work, and I can create this texture. The wonderful thing about this splatter technique is it gives you a lot of freedom with these kind of trees, these pine trees. This workshop, by the way, for those of you that are not on the workshop but are just catching this portion on Facebook Live, is called Pine for Watercolor. And so pine trees have particular shapes and forms, and there's lots of little pine needles and pine cones and branches, and there's lots of stuff going on that make them very interesting. And so part of what I'm working on here is just to simplify and create these symbols for these trees without overdoing the this kind of painting that some would probably want to do. I'm going to try to keep it simple. Here's water. Just going to add some water to those trunks, and there's a lot of stuff going on back in here. I'm just going to gray this, take this that I have here and just pull it around. Probably put a little bit more warm in this trunk here. Take some of the burnt quinacridone burnt orange. Drop some of that in there. Quinacridone burnt orange will push away other colors in kind of a neat way. I don't know what it is about it. There's something very dominating about it, I guess. It just pushes the other colors out of the way and gives it a nice value, a warmth that's kind of cool. A warmth that's kind of cool. That's funny. I need a few more trees in here or something. A little dry brush tree there. A little more splatter. There's all kinds of activity and branches and tree and lots of stuff happening throughout this whole area. And I'm going to just continue it right over the top of some of this foreground tree, because I want that foreground tree to be totally bare and isolated. It needs to be brought into this mixture here of trees and foliage, and build that shape needs to kind of join in. They need to be joined together. They can't be separated too much. Now up in the top, there's some of the same thing happening that I failed to do earlier. So I think I need to do that here. I'll bring a little of this, connecting it into this one over here. A little darker. So, those of you that are viewing this by Facebook Live and YouTube, I want to just mention something here. I'm going to be doing another workshop coming up on Thursday, June 4th, 2020, high noon. We're going to do a Victorian house painting. That'll be the reference photo. If you want to go to my website, you can find information on how to register for that one. So, and for those of you that are on this workshop we're doing right now, you may also register right away for the next one. I know many of you've done each of the ones I've done, and I appreciate it a lot. Thanks so much. So thank you for being a part of this on YouTube and